With the launch of the iPhone 14 lineup, a lot of things have changed. Up to the 7th of September, the iPhone 11 was the oldest iPhone being sold on Apple's website. It has since been replaced by the iPhone 12. So the question is the iPhone 11 still worth it in 2022, 2023? And what does the iPhone 11 have that makes it a worthwhile option for you? The iPhone 11 was the pioneer of Apple's new design language for all the iPhones that came after 2019, barring the squared-off look that was started on the iPhone 12 and the new camera layout, which is on the iPhone 13. Put simply, the iPhone 11 still has decent aesthetics. The aluminium and glass build makes the device look and feel premium and modern, bearing in mind that this was the first iPhone to get the centered Apple logo. So if you're planning to get one, it doesn't even look dated at all. The user experience on the iPhone 11, not just the iPhone 11, but the whole Apple ecosystem, is unmatched. And the iPhone 11 is no exception. Navigating your way on the interface is hassle-free. The advantage that Apple has over other phone manufacturers is that they make their own hardware and software, so the user experience is much more defined. Swiping through apps and doing day-to-day activities is just so seamless. You know when something is so good and reliable that you don't think about it. That's how the user experience for me is on the iPhone 11. Add consistent updates to the mix. What more can you ask for? The iPhone 11 got the recent update to iOS 16, and I'm confidently expecting 3 more updates from Apple on this device. No other company has software support for that length of a period. Now, when it comes to hardware, you can tell that premium materials were used in making the iPhone 11. I particularly think that the iPhone 11, or iPhones in general, have one of the best vibration motors in a phone thanks to the haptic engine. The cameras, the stereo speakers are also top-notch. The cell reception has been so decent for me, so is the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth connections. Now, there are some YouTubers who say that the Intel modem in the iPhone 11 is not the best when it comes to cell phone reception, but my experience with the phone has been decent, to say the least. Now with the iPhone 11, you're only restricted to 4G. There's no 5G on this device. So if you're looking for 5G, you might want to look elsewhere. The talking point for iPhone 11 since launch has been the display. In the world of dynamic islands, does the iPhone 11 display still have a leg to stand on? The phone features a 1792 by 828 LCD panel, not AMOLED. On paper, this is not a good look for techies, but in real-world usage, it's a different story. The IPS LCD panel on the iPhone 11 is decent in my opinion. It's actually quite good, and the color reproduction is actually good. It's only when you put it side to side with maybe a phone that has like an AMOLED panel where you can actually see the difference. But if you're using it on a day-to-day, I think it's actually quite good. You tend to get used to it eventually. Granted, it's not as sharp as the iPhone 11 or 11 Pro Max, which were released in the same year as the iPhone 11. But the display on the iPhone 11 ended up working in its favor in terms of battery life. The iPhone 11 has probably one of the best batteries in an iPhone. Let me prefix this by saying up to that time. iPhones that came even later have a better battery life. The battery on the iPhone 11 is great depending on your usage habits. I, for the most part, am a heavy user, so my screen time will obviously be lower than the average user. I find myself having to charge the phone twice a day, which explains probably why I have an average of 9 hours screen on time. But the reality is that I get around 4 to 5 hours screen on time. This is because I'll be kicking butt on Call of Duty. And clearly, I also spend a lot of time on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. One worry that every iPhone user has is obviously battery health. So when you're shopping around, I recommend you get an iPhone 11 that has maybe over 85% of battery health. That will save you a lot of problems in the future. I mean, you can always replace the battery, but nothing beats the original. In terms of processing power, if you're a gamer, then you won't be disappointed with iPhone 11's performance. You'll be able to play your favorite titles on high graphics without breaking a sweat. The A13 Bionic chip is still a very fast chip even 3 years after launch. So most of the things you throw at it, it will be able to handle. Although when playing games like PUBG and Call of Duty, the phone gets warm to the touch. The device might get laggy, but overall, you won't be disappointed. The iPhone 11 comes with 4 gigs of RAM, and with Apple's software trickery, you get the impression that it is the best RAM management. But for the most part, if you're multitasking, then the iPhone 11 will be able to keep up. So you don't have to worry in terms of RAM management. Now, we cannot finish talking about the iPhone 11 without mentioning the cameras. Personally, they are the reason why I bought this device. The iPhone 11 is equipped with 2 rear cameras, both 12 megapixels, one shoots wide and the other one ultra wide. And what better place to test out the camera than at Avondale shops? Let me know what you think of the video and picture quality. Let's go. Now, when it comes to security, the phone is packed with many security features, including Face ID, which is excellent in my opinion. I mean, Face ID even works in the dark. Even when it comes to security updates, Apple does not drop the ball in that regard. So in terms of security, you're covered. At the moment, the iPhone 11 is retailing for around $300 for a renewed and used device. Personally, I think it is a good deal. I'll leave a few links below in case you want to grab yourself a deal that will really help out the channel as well. So who is the iPhone 11 for? If it's your first time getting into the Apple ecosystem or getting an iPhone, I would definitely recommend you to start off with iPhone 11. I mean, it carries decent features that can make you make a proper decision in terms of you staying in the Apple ecosystem or not. But I think it's a very good device if you're starting out. And if you're coming from maybe older iPhones, maybe iPhone 7, iPhone 8, yeah, that will be a huge jump. But if you have an iPhone 10R, 10s Max, or 10s, I would definitely recommend that you skip this one. Probably get a 12 or 13 if you can, because I mean, there's not much difference between the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 10s Max, except for the display and stuff. So upgrading from the 10s Max to the 11, I don't know, that just doesn't make sense. But if you're getting maybe a 13, that will definitely be good for you. Anyway, that was my review of the iPhone 11. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, if I gave you valuable information, please consider subscribing. See you in the next video.